Well, hello there, dear Azure This Week viewer. If you're here for the first time, then welcome to this bite-sized update on some of the things that happened in the past week in the world of the cloud platform with the most rainbows. Yeah, if you have watched the show before, welcome back. You know the drill, this time on the show. New security features for Azure Functions and Azure Apps. There's a new Premium Block Blob Storage, say that 10 times fast, and a look into how the Azure teams stay on top of security vulnerabilities on the entire platform. A Cloud Guru is built on serverless. As our co-founder Sam Jazz Hands Cronenberg loves to shout from the rooftops, we have no servers here. So this week I found some serverless news delight for you. In fact, there are 5 new security features for Azure Functions this week that are all designed to reduce lines of code and simplify working with identity and secret management. So the first one is key vault references for application settings in Azure Function triggers and Azure Apps that can now source secrets directly from Azure Key Vault. This feature is in public preview. User-assigned managed identities. These are created as their own Azure resources now and then assigned to a given application. A user-assigned identity can also be assigned to multiple applications, and an application can have multiple user-assigned identities. Get it? Right? So this feature is also now in public preview. There's managed identities for app services on Linux and web apps for containers. And Linux apps are now getting some of the love too with this update that is in public preview. Claims principal binding data for Azure Functions is one of my favorites, because until now you could only authenticate your functions with the app service authentication and authorization flow. Now available, you can use the claims principal object similar to what most ASP.NET developers are used to. Very cool, and a very welcome update. And finally, support for access control allow credentials in CORS or CORS configurations. So the access control allow credentials header can now be set. This is necessary whenever you need to send cookies or a token as part of calling your API. So without this response header being set, the browser will not pass data along. For anyone relying on blob storage for their applications, which I would argue is a lot, this is a very cool new offering. With a focus on throughput and response time, Premium Block Blob Storage uses a combination of solid-state drives and software enhancements, and you can now get up to 40 times better latency, yeah, I know, 40 times, and 5 times faster upload and download. This is a massive performance gain, and while there is no pricing revealed yet for the service, it will almost certainly be worth it for applications requiring high responsiveness and interaction with blob storage. So I can only wonder if some of these gains, especially on the software side of the Azure implementation, will flow through to the standard tier as well. The limited public preview is currently available in North Europe, US East, US East 2, US Central, and US West. Data and infrastructure breaches are almost inevitable, so what are you going to do when unwelcome guests are rummaging through your personal bits and bytes? The Azure teams take the same approach, called Assume Breach, and has been carried out by the red team, so that's the attackers, and the blue team, the defenders. And since 2016, these two teams have been joined by the green team, the fixers. Yay! The green team works closely with the red and blue team to understand what high-risk systemic security issues exist, specifically focusing in on those that enable or lead to breaches, and by performing root cause analysis, identify and address these issues at scale. As an example, developers are all too often tempted to put credentials in source code. Yeah, don't look at me like that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you too, Jeffrey. Exactly. So while the green team developed and contributed to Get Green and Stay Green, security controls to help identify and remediate credentials already in source code, they simultaneously sought a green by design solution. So this would more easily result in developers meeting an internal security requirements and to store credentials in Azure Key Vault. So that access to credentials is restricted, monitored, and more easily managed. So to make the solution simple and easy to deploy, the green team collaborated with the Visual Studio team, so the Azure CLI team, and the managed services teams to develop and identify app authentication libraries. And this library that is now out has been downloaded over 1 million times. So go use it. And so in this episode, we covered new security features for Azure Functions and Azure Apps, which adds very welcome features like use of the claims principal object. There's a new Premium Block Blob Storage that blitzes the latency and throughput performance numbers from the standard blob storage tier. And we got a peek into the red, blue, and green team strategy for dealing with vulnerabilities in the Azure platform. So see you next week, and don't forget to bring cake and keep being awesome, Cloud Gurus.